A lot of people ask me, how do I have so much energy in the morning? No, I do not smoke trees. No, I do not take drugs. No, I do not do anything that gives me some form of an artificial high. I'm high off life, honestly. I streamed last night and then I work in the morning. And then some people are familiar with what it is that I do on a regular basis and they're familiar with my work ethic and stuff like that. And so often at times people inquire and they say, Anton, why are you so hyped? How are you able to maintain this level of energy throughout your shows, throughout your days? I don't understand it. How can you work in corporate America? How can you deal with people? How can you manage a household? How can you have a wife and a kid and do all of these different things and also be dropping content and never miss and be on top of things on a regular basis? I'm high off life, but more importantly, I'm gonna give you another thing, right? And we're gonna get into the show shortly after this. I'm gonna give you another tip. The main way in which I maintain my level of energy on a regular basis is I'm so driven and dedicated to what it is that I need to do, whether that be adding value into you, whether that be building on a legacy, whether that be taking care of my business, whether it be content creation, whether it be corporate America. I was in a meeting in corporate America yesterday and I did a presentation and it got rave reviews, honestly. And that's real talk. Rave reviews. And I'd be thinking to myself, damn, am I ever going to slow down? One of the reasons why you guys find yourself in this perpetual state of normalcy, averageness. I don't even know if that's a word. Is averageness a word? It's like something that I can't describe because I'm not used to it. The reason that you find yourself in a space to where you so content with the space that you in is because you chasing things that don't add no value into your life. And I'm gonna be honest with you. You haven't reverse engineered your life to allow for yourself. I'm gonna be reading that super chat shortly. Shout out to Bang the Game. You haven't reverse engineered your life to where you can allow for yourself to actually get to that next level. And so what happens is you substitute it with sex. You're not hearing me. You're not hearing me. You know why guys play so many video games is because they get to live the illusion of what it was or what it is that they can do and accomplish. And they've allowed you to gamify your life and to live in this alternate reality because life is not what it is that you wanted to do. I gave my Xbox to my daughter the other day because she broke her Xbox. And so I took the one down from the office because I usually had a one off at the office here for when my daughter come visit me. But it was also supposed to be so I can game with her when I'm down here and when she's back at the crib, right? But I haven't played it. Literally, I haven't played it in a long time. I cut it on, I update all of the games on it, I download whatever it is, but I haven't literally played it in probably over a year. Gave it to her. I don't have any kind of visibility as it relates to it because I'm so focused on doing what I want to do and being high off life. And so what people tend to do is that they substitute their life, and it's not just with games, it's with everything. They have to numb the pain. They have to get on some kind of upper, right? They give you all of this medicine to not necessarily solve for what you're going through, but to allow for you to continue to be on the medicine, get addicted to it, and then you don't get the results as a result of it. So they're not solving for your problem. They're just treating the symptoms. They allowing for you to continue to go through it because they profit from it, and you don't actually get the solution for what it is that you want to do. Most of your problems can be solved with a real life reality check that allows for you to actually get to the bag. And so it's not necessarily getting to the bag. We call ourselves bag chasers because it ring a certain type of way. But the reality is that we are really doing the thing that's in our own best interest, and we understand all of the money, all of the success, and all of the game, and all of the being successfully married comes along with it. We willing to endure long enough to get to the success. It's just a fact. Q was like, Anton would never be able to be in a relationship if Rita wasn't in his life because he works so much and he's dedicated to his success and his grind. And no woman would be willing to deal with his work ethic and his schedule. Right? She said that last night on the live stream. I streamed a lot longer than I normally would, but she said that last night on the live stream. And you know what's so funny? That's not for me to determine, because if I was hypothetically in a situation where I was single, I wouldn't care about anything that a woman got to do, because I don't care that much about sex. I don't care that much about anything that I can't actually use, you know what I'm saying, to actually better my life. There's nothing that is that meaningful to me. People on a regular basis, even my own wife, will say, well, Anton probably needs it on a regular basis in order to maintain a good attitude. That's not true. It's not true at all. It's not true at all. The only thing that I care about, I hate to say it, honestly, I have been putting in my 10,000 hours ago for so long that the only thing I care about is the routine that allows for me to continue to be successful. Don't y'all want more than just that little bit of pussy that you get in the morning or at nighttime every once in a while? Don't you want more than whatever it is that you got popping up on your screen that you continue to beat off to? Don't you want more than whatever it is that your paycheck was that you got paid early and you know you're going to be going through the same thing next week or 2 weeks from now? Don't you want more than whatever it is that you've experienced last year that you also experienced in this year, that 10 years from now your life going to pass you by and it's going to be the same way that it was? Or is that enough for you? Honestly. Because I seen what y'all said in the chat, and y'all said that I'm going through it. Oh, I'm blessed. And a lot of times people say that I'm blessed in order to justify the circumstance that they in, because they just appreciative of where they at and not necessarily taking care of where it is that they going. Don't you want more than to live in a simulation of ones and zeros that people have programmed in order for you to really be able to, you know, go through the GTA or Red Dead Redemption or Fortnite or whatever like that? Don't you want to live that shit in real life? Like, you don't want to be playing Forza and all of the racing games. Don't you want to drive that shit in real life? Don't you want to experience what it feels like to see what $1 million look like? Don't you want to see what 100,000 in cash look like and then blow it and not even care about what happened to it yesterday? Honestly, like, don't you want to experience something more than living your life through somebody else's Instagram filter? Don't you want to really have fun? Have you ever like thought about whatever your favorite sport is and then what it would be like to sit on the sidelines at the 50-yard line in the front row or hanging out at the Super Bowl? Have you ever traveled to actually sit in the front row to see your favorite performer in their concert and see what it really feels like, and not to have your phone on and just experience it? All of that shit costs money. It all costs money. Don't you want to go to the store or go to the restaurant and not have to even look at the bill and don't even know if they finessing you or not? I didn't know that they was finessing me in the Dominican Republic for what they was charging me on certain things until after I thought about it 2 weeks later, and I got home and I was like, damn, they was probably finessing me, wasn't they? Don't you want to know what it feels like to get into a car and to drive down the street and not worry about whether or not the police pull you over because you got your license, registration, and insurance all up to date and you're not worried about the payment that came along with it? Have you ever went to the car dealership and paid the entirety of the lease payment right there? Do you know what it feels like to not to have a house note and the only thing you got to pay every 6 months is the property taxes on it? Have you ever felt what it felt like to actually ride in first class or Delta One? Or are you always going to be so cost conscious because of your budget, because your checking account don't align up with your savings account? And so as a result, you always got to make the sacrifice and making sure that you pray to God that they're not fighting on that Spirit Airlines flight. Don't you want to know what it feels like to not to be able to give freely and not worry about how it affects your budget? I mean, honestly, think about it. Just think about what your dreams were, and then also think about who took them away from you. Think about how slowly everything that you dreamed of as a kid just went out the fucking window, because everything that you ever dreamed of was taken away slowly by surely, Lego block by Lego block, because you started to settle based off of your circumstances and the people that surround you. Don't you want to know what it feels like to pay your car insurance like 6 months out, just pay the whole amount and not have to worry about what comes along with it? Who paid you to kill your dreams? Who paid you to settle for the person that you land next to every day? Who convinced you that the life that you live in was worth living when that's not the thing that you dreamed of or what your parents had in mind when they had you? What does it feel like to know that student loan payments is about to start back up in September and you're going to be under duress? What does it feel like to have to vote a certain way, hoping that a politician can change your life or to forgive you for something that you self-inflicted for? What is that like? Have you ever woke up in the morning and was like, you know what? I just feel like going and taking a flight over to this city so that I can have lunch over there, and then I'm gonna fly back in the daytime. You know what it's like to have the option to be able to send your kid to school wherever it is that's best for them? Huh? Have you ever wanted more, not just for yourself, but for your children? Have you ever wanted to be able to take them out and let them buy whatever it is that they want? Or is it always going to be this way? Is their kids going to be this way and the kids after that going to be this way? Or are you going to be the one that changed the dynamics of your family and the trajectory of where it is that you're going? Have you ever wanted to go into a place and you seen somebody suffering, or you seen they needed new equipment and you just went in and you bought it and that was just the thing? Have you ever just given somebody some money and just said, hey man, I was just thinking about you. God bless you. Have a good day. Or are you always the one that's on the receiving end? Or are you always the one that's going to be wishing? Or are you always the one that's going to be begging? Have you ever wondered what it felt like to not chase pussy for 5 minutes so that you can actually focus on what it is that you got going on? Or are you 100% dedicated to the pussy chase for the rest of your life? You ever wanted to actually go and shop and buy the thing that you want that's actually dope for you? Or are you so focused on what everybody else's drip feel like? Have you ever actually wanted to go and do the thing that was meaningful to you, or everything that you do and every way in which you live based off of what somebody else told you that was fun? Have you ever went ice skating? You know what I'm saying? Have you ever did things that was unique to you? Or is everything based off of what it is that they posting on the gram and TikTok? Have you ever known what it was like not to be poor? Have you ever wanted that for yourself? You ever wanted to drive a Ferrari Enzo? I haven't yet, but it's certainly on my bucket list. You ever wanted to know what it was like to go and buy a computer without using Klarna or Afterpay? You want to know what it's like to actually not have credit card debt? You want to know what it's like to actually be able to build a house from scratch and then give the game over to everybody else? Yo, are you so concerned with asking everybody for what it is that you need and you so busy begging, or are you so focused on building so that you can be the one to give? Are you the giver or are you the receiver? Pause. You want to know what it's like to take your family out and be able to pay for dinner and everybody just have fun and they not worried about the bill? You want to know what it's like to buy your mother a house and she ain't got to worry about being under duress? It's a different life that's available to you, but you not unlocking it because you so focused on your circumstances instead of being focused on where it is that you're supposed to be. Listen, box is not an accomplishment. Getting a chick to lay down with you is not a flex. That's not a flex. Ladies, letting a man bust you down that don't care nothing about you is not a flex. Having your kids have another man that you don't know, that didn't birth them, coming into your household and making sure that they taken care of because they need a father figure in their life is not a flex. Being broke and poor and depending on your employer to give you a paycheck at the end of the month in order for you to be able to survive is not a flex. Living paycheck to paycheck is not a flex. Making sure that you do the things that's in your own best interest, even though you don't have the capability to do so and you are largely dependent on somebody else in order to take care of you, fellas, is not a flex. Paying for a woman that don't care anything about you in order to try to get some box and it's not even guaranteed that she gonna give it to you is not a flex. It's not a flex. These things that I'm naming for you is your reason. Taking care of your kids is not a flex. I hate to break it to you. I know it's going to be some people that run in the Victim Olympics and they're going to disagree with me, but it's not a flex. You know what it is? It's your reasonable service. That's what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to be paid. You're supposed to be successful. You're supposed to not be under duress. You're supposed to be married. You're supposed to be successful when it comes to your relationships. You're supposed to have a great network. You're supposed to be able to get up and go wherever it is that you want when you want to. You're supposed to have the option to go and buy what you want to buy whenever you want to, even if you decide not to do so. You're supposed to be able to buy whatever car you want to, even if you decide not to do so. You're supposed to be successful. You're supposed to be rich. You're supposed to be great. Your kids are not supposed to be living in the hood under duress. You're supposed to be able to go wherever it is that you want to go. That is not a flex. That is your reasonable service. We're raising expectations over here at the Bag Chasers and the Millionaire Morning Show because we are not going to live our lives based off of the substandard living conditions that's been set before us by people that don't even care anything about us. That is not a flex. You settling for another man's junk, talking about one man's trash is another man's treasure, is something that was made up by the dude that was digging in the trash. That is not a flex. It is not a flex to dig up somebody else's trash and then look at it as a treasure. That is not a flex. That is not your life. That is for somebody else. Somebody got to do it. Somebody got to do the trash. Somebody got to make sure you're taking it out. And that's okay if you do it. I don't have nothing bad to say about somebody that's doing it legally. All I'm saying is it's not going to be me. I've done my duty. I've paid my dues. I am not supposed to be doing that for the rest of my life. I am going to live in bliss. And that is going to come from me making sure that I meet my expectation of what I've set for myself and higher standards than what it is that your parents set for you or your homegirl and what it is that she's living in. She's living in substandard living conditions. And every night she's laying down with a dude that don't care nothing about her. And it's a different one. It is not a flex. That is not a flex. When are you then going to make an adjustment so that you can actually get to the spaces that you need to get into? I am not eating after nobody else. I am not taking your leftovers. I don't take leftovers home. I don't even get doggy bags when I go to the restaurant. That is not a flex. I am there to enjoy it, and then I want them to clean up after me. I do not feel like carrying anything back to my car. So you may be there right now, but that is not where you have to be a year, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. You can make the adjustment. This life that we're living, complaining and whining, and then living under duress is not a flex. You are not supposed to be overly in debt. You are not supposed to be suffering. You are not supposed to be getting cheated on. You are not supposed to be... When you going to have higher expectations for yourself? And I'm not telling you that you just got to settle based off of the fact that you want something different. I'm saying that you become something different and then you become what it is that you attract. If you want a great person, stop praying for them and start doing the things that great people do so that you can align yourself with people that are great. And then you'll start to attract greatness. It's self. Self. You got to deal with self. It's nobody else's expectation but yours. If you want a good car, then make sure that you go to work every day, make the adjustments, make the sacrifices, invest in your assets, and then let those assets pay for your car. And if you can't do it for yourself, do it for the people that's dependent on you.